This is a performance that some of my patrons have been asking for a lot. Hey Andy. It is a fascinating combination of EDM, throat singing, and Siberian indigenous music. You can hear the throat singing layered underneath. Oh, just floating. So interesting. So the guy singing there is a guy called Ummet Ozcan, and he is a Dutch and Turkish DJ and producer, and he is really interested in traditional styles of singing. Now, he is doing a style of throat singing here, if you didn't notice. But actually, there are lots and lots of different types. To understand this, you need to know a little bit about how sound is produced itself. Now, when you hear a note, you're not actually just hearing one note. You are hearing that pitch, what we define as the pitch. Or if you're being fancy, we call it the fundamental frequency. And then there are layers of notes above this, and this define the tone. So, for example, if I made this note, or they're both the same fundamental frequency, but they have a completely different tone because they are boosting different harmonics in the sound by how I'm shaping my vocal tract. Sometimes with these harmonics, you can boost them so much that it sounds like a different note. So something like this. I hope you can just hear that top note. It's not obviously my style of singing. And this explains the first type of throat singing I'm going to talk about. Khomus is a type of throat singing, a Mongolian type of throat singing where you have those two defined notes. It's a little bit warmer than some types of throat singing, and the pitch of that higher note is manipulated through changing the jaw, the tongue, the throat. There's also a type of throat singing called sigil, and it's kind of similar, but it has a harsher sound, and a lot of that sound travels up through the nose. So you're using the nasal resonance to get that harsher, more focused sound. It's described as an imitation of a summer breeze or the sounds of birds singing. He's doing something a little bit different, undertones. These are these boosted harmonics below the fundamental frequency. How is he doing that? I find this so amazing. When I talked about metal singers, you might have heard me talk about false vocal folds or vestibular folds. That's just the fancy name for the same thing. And they're bits of tissue that come over the vocal cords to protect them from excessive pressure, but they can also be used when singing or when growling. That sort of sound is the false vocal folds coming across and vibrating in an uneven way to create noise. I can't believe this is even possible. When the air travels through the vocal cords, they vibrate. The false folds come across and they vibrate evenly at exactly half the frequency of the vocal cords. When the vocal cords create 2 rounds of vibrations, that means that the false vocal folds have created 1 round of vibrations, and this creates this amazing undertone harmony. I find it incredible that we can even sing, but it's even more incredible to me that we match up our vocal folds with our false vocal folds with such precision. And he's doing it right now. And it looks so easy. He's got the feeling. He really connects you with the earth, and she's like the spirit of the birds. Oh, I'm not sure what instrument that is. Let me know if you know. Okay. The instrument that she had in her mouth there is really interesting. This is called the jaw harp. It's used in lots and lots of different cultures, and it's interesting because it's also all about resonance. She's putting the jaw harp between her teeth and kind of pinging a little bit of metal. Her mouth is a resonant chamber. So, like when you have a guitar, if you just pluck the string of a guitar, it makes a little bit of a noise, but not that loud noise. But when you put it over the guitar, those sound waves go into the body of the guitar and bounce around, and that produces a bigger sound that we can hear as the guitar. That's what she's doing with her mouth. I find that fascinating as well. I love the combination of more modern instruments as well. This is really high. Yeah, really high. It's really interesting, those little sounds, which I really failed at there. When I was in a choir, we had a choir teacher who used to go, ew! And it's a really Scottish noise that people do at ceilidhs or when singing dance Scottish songs, and it comes from the sounds of the birds, and I think that this is a similar idea. What she's doing is thinning out her vocal folds really thin. In fact, actually on all these oohs and ahs, she's not going to a heavy place at the bottom like you might do in pop. She's keeping those vocal cords really thin, really light, to sound like the breeze, to sound like nature. Big growl in there. I love it. So, who are this band? They are called Otyken, and how they came about is absolutely fascinating. Otyken was formed by its producer, manager, and songwriter Andrei Medinas. Now, Andrei is not Siberian ethnicity, but he grew up in a beekeeping family, and this beekeeping family worked very closely with the Cholum peoples, who are one of the Siberian indigenous groups. Of course, growing up there, he was friends with a lot of Cholum people, and in fact married a Cholum woman. Now, he loved beekeeping and he loved that link to indigenous culture, so he set up a museum of honey, which was about the bees and preserving the culture of different indigenous groups and their relation to honey. And the museum did really well, so he started to put on concerts of indigenous music, and after a bit of time he got some people together and he wrote some songs and was like, let's take this further. And Otyken was born. I'd love to see them live though, I know it'd be difficult. I'm just gonna dance out the rest, but it gave me a couple of thoughts. One, it reminds me of when I went to see The Who, the Hate You Not The Who, the British band, and the sound is so incredible. If you get an opportunity to see any throat singing, I cannot describe it. The resonance just envelops you. It's like being inside a cloud of sound, a beautiful cloud of sound. But what it also makes me think of is within the Western world, we often relate music to social status, achievement, whereas this doesn't feel like this. This just feels like enjoyment, praise, preserving a culture and showing the world a culture that I wouldn't know much about otherwise. I feel like music is always so much more successful when it comes from that place. I can't help but just want to dance with it. Actually, there's a massive culture in the UK where people go to a festival and they get really drunk and other stuff so that you're kind of lifted up by the music. But this music sweeps me off my feet. I certainly wouldn't be needing to have a drink to be enjoying this. That was incredible, and it makes me feel so blessed to have the internet so that I can connect with someone all the way across the world like this, who is singing in a style of music that I had no idea about before researching this video. Before you go, I have just released my very own album, Fable. It is available on my website, bethroars.com, and there are some songs available here on YouTube and on Spotify, and it is very Celtic-y and electronic, so if you like traditional music with a modern twist, then it might be your vibe, and I'm really proud of it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.